everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If any of you are new here today, please make sure to click the subscribe button, and for all my returning subscribers, welcome to another video by your ultimate fave. You guys can already tell by the way the setup is looking that this is going to be a seafood boil mukbang. So if you guys have an issue with the sounds and the eating sounds, please be mindful of the fact that I am going to kind of increase the sound of the actual mic. Does that make sense, right? So you guys will hear those chewing sounds in like HD format. But anyway, guys, welcome back to another video. And as you guys can see by the title of the story, I'm gonna be telling you guys a story time. And before I even get into it and explain why I decided to do a story time, I would just like to wish all of you guys is it a World Champagne Day or like an International Champagne Day? So cheers if you guys are indoor like me and you know, no friends, no nothing. I've been chilling indoors. I really didn't have any plans for like World Champagne Day. Don't have friends, don't have plans. Nobody invites me anywhere, but it's okay. I decided that I would do a seafood boil. I ordered myself a seafood boil, and you guys can see today that I don't have the original setup that I normally have, but I got something different because I feel like the normal seafood boil that I get for you guys, I think a lot of you guys find it out of your price range. So Dash Kitchen has kind of introduced smaller servings at a lot more reasonable prices, and one of them is this. So these are actual single servings. So this one I think is the crab, mussel, and prawn bag. And this, ooh, yonki sauce out. This bag actually goes for 350, and as you guys can see, there's a lot of food in there. And then this is called their junk dunk, and it basically consists of like their mac and cheese, their famous mac and cheese with the Cajun shrimp, and they also just give you a bit of their boil, what they offer. So it's like a best of both worlds, and this rates for, well, the price range is 350 rand and this is 250 rand. Pretty reasonable. It's like well within someone's budget if you are a first timer and you'd really like to eat this, because I noticed that a lot of people have trouble with buying the bigger one that I normally buy, and that one is a portion, or the serving size is for 4 people. So if you thought it's out of your price range, it's actually not out of your price range. It's just that the particular one that you guys keep seeing on my channel was excuse me, a bit more expensive than what other people would have preferred. This prawn mussel bag is a serving for 1. Wait, let me take this off. I damn near almost burned the damn bag. Alrighty. I'm looking forward to this because you guys know I've told you guys so many times before that crab meat is actually my favorite. It's just the difficulty of actually getting the meat out the shell, but nonetheless this is my favorite, like hands down. And there's crab in both of them. I actually didn't get anything to do with lobster. I wasn't feeling like lobster today. I just wanted like crab meats. Okay, let me get into the story. Before I kind of babble on, let me actually take my first bite and kind of tell you guys, whoa, I'm a tata. Wait, let me get scissors. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I am back, and before we go into the story and I tell you guys essentially what happened, I'd really like to take a bite because I have been waiting all day. Ooh, I've been waiting all day to eat this. Now, this is their infamous mac and cheese. If you guys have heard of Dash Kitchen, you know about their seafood boil, but you should also check out their mac and cheese. It's absolutely divine. It's so cheesy. It's so mac and cheesy, like it's great, it's amazing. I don't know why, but my nose is doing funny things today. I'm gonna have one of these sausages that you guys know I absolutely adore. This ain't no sausage that I'm used to. What this? What's this? This tastes more like a chorizo like type of thing. Oh my god, my eyelash is actually itchy. I don't mind it though. Quick disclaimer, I'm not feeling too well today, so my energy is gonna be a bit more laid back than what you guys are normally used to, but that's because I've got a really like painful chest. I've got like a tight pain in my chest. I haven't been feeling well all day today, so when I laugh it kind of makes my chest really sore. So I'm gonna have to try and avoid laughing at all costs. Like, today's going to be difficult. But anyway, woo! Muscle's always on point. I'm gonna tell you guys a story about how I actually ended up with a pathological liar. This guy, guys, yo, when they mention a high school crush and they tell you that crushes should remain crushes for a reason, because when you actually get to realize who your crush really is when they're not your crush, it's actually horrendous. I can't lie, so horrendous. This guy, I wouldn't say I dated him, but yo, when I tell you that this guy, when I tell you that I was a convenience to a nigga, like convenience, like you know when a nigga is with you because he can see hore, yeah, really, like I've won, jackpot, done, we're done. But anyway, so it was shortly after I broke up with an ex of mine in university. I met this guy. This guy, him and I went to the same high school. And if you and I went to the same high school, then you have an idea of who I'm talking about, because he was my crush for years. Like, guys, he matriculated way before me, but he was my crush, forever and ever. I mean, no problem. So shortly after I broke up with my ex, my then ex, it was when Facebook was still kind of popular. Like, Twitter was popular, but I used to go on Facebook from time to time and things like that, whatever. And bear in mind that when I was in high school, so this guy, he matriculated many years before I matriculated. Like, I think we had like a 4-year age gap. So, and guys, when I had went into university, he was probably in his, what, mid? I'm not sure, because I think he failed the grade or so, I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't fail, I wouldn't know, hey? But judging from the things that he told me, I'm not surprised. Like, it's gonna make sense once I explain why I think this nigga was actually, I get to know or what was happening. But hey, yo, like, oh my god, this is too spicy. Like, I'm generally not someone who likes spice, and I think lately I'm not really enjoying Dash Kitchen seafood boils anymore because of the spice levels. Like, I'm someone who just doesn't like spice that much, so it's becoming really difficult to eat them with time. But anyway, it's too good, it tastes good, so I guess we gotta soldier on. I posted a picture on Facebook, and then he DM'd me. Woo! I was like, Lord, is that you doing the Lord's work? So I was kind of popping, I'm not even gonna lie, I was looking mad good on that picture. Then he sent me a DM, and I was like, for story's sake, I'll call him. I need a name that's just, you can tell that something isn't right here. Spencer. Spencer sounds like a man with money, and that here is not the case. I'm gonna call him Thomas. I'm gonna call him Thomas. Now, he wasn't the hottest guy around, but I really liked him because back in school, he was kind of smart and stuff like that. He was always the one who laid back. Like, the girls all liked the hot guys, like Bochabi and things like that. But me, I wasn't there. Me, I didn't like Bochabi and Bozanegutle and things like that. Like, the girls really liked the boys. And I didn't like those guys because those guys were too cool for my liking. They were gonna dribble me to infinity and back. So he sent me a DM on Facebook and he's like, hey cutie. He didn't say hey cutie, but he was like, oh hey. Because I told him back in school that I had a crush on him. And then he mized me. When he saw the girl was looking cute, growing into her body parts and everything, sends a DM and he's like, no hey. I was like, no hey. Then we started talking. I think over a couple of weeks, we would speak like via inbox and stuff like that. But obviously, I was reciprocating the energy because I was keen, right? I was keen to get to know him. How? My crush was feeling me, I was feeling him. Let's feel each other. How? Okay. Everything moved from the DMs to obviously WhatsApp. And you know what they say about when things move from the DMs to WhatsApp, that's when you know that things are bound to fail. Well, they did, but it took a bit too long this time. So fine, he asked for my number. And guys, we got along like a house on fire. Like, I really liked him because I think it was the infatuation with knowing that, oh my God, he actually likes me back. Okay, this one tastes a whole lot better than the mussel bag. The mussel bag is a bit too spicy for me. But this is more on the sweet side and I like this. Cool. Hi. Then after that, I don't know what happened. Oh, he would always, the first time when I actually hung out with him, to show that this guy was actually such a loser, guys. Now my school was all the way in the West Rand, Rodipot side, Monash, right? One day we were talking and I said to him, no, listen, I finished class early, so we can always, you know, hang out. We can get like something to drink, we can chill, maybe let's meet up for lunch. Baby boy was like, no, come through to my place. I should have realized from then that that was the first red flag. No nigga, disclaimer, no nigga who likes you will take you to his house on a first date, okay? He is trying to smash, and that is that on that about that, and that's period, periola, like, period poo. So he was like, no, come, let's chill at my place. But then again, let me just like reiterate what the setup was between us. We were vibing, we were getting to know each other. So I wasn't too fazed about the fact that he wasn't asking me out on a date because he knew prior how I felt about him. That's the first mistake. A nigga must never ever know how you feel about him. Ever. So initially I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't think anything of it because I didn't mind, right? I was also being proactive and wanting to see him. So I drove from the west to the east. And when I say east, I don't mean east like Spreadview. I mean east like Sunward going to Carnival City, Brakpan side. East. So I get to his place. You know, hey, you know when you can tell that someone wasn't expecting you, and whether you were there or not made no difference. I get there, he sets up a hub. I think that's actually where my love for hub kind of solidified. No, I lied. That's when I realized that I don't like those Chinese hubs. Because I had one at my place, and he had one. But his hub was always better, and mine was always crap. So he would teach me how to do this, whatever, cool. So get to his place, Nafuti guys, he made me smoke blue mix. Woo, guys, yo, we just go around Stola, we go around Sketa. But back in that time, blue mix was poppin'. So it's okay, That was great. Then I went home. And at the time, I was living with my sister. Then I saw this thing become a pattern, man, where every time I'd be like, no, so are we gonna, like, he would be like, no, let's hang out, things like that. And then he'd be like, yo, I'll see you at my place at this time. I'm like, at your place? Why? And guys, it was at that point where I should have noticed the red flag, but I didn't. He's doing the hold on, everybody. Hey, that's the, oh my God, this is when the first red flag popped down. He said to me, I said to him, no, let's grab lunch. And this time I was very intentional about the fact that I wanted to get lunch, right? I said to him, no, you've been saying that we'll grab lunch, whatever, but we always hang out at your place. I'm feeling really hungry. So let's go to Ocean Baskets. So he's like, okay, cool. We can go to the Ocean Basket in Sunwood. There's an Ocean Basket in the south. There's an Ocean Basket everywhere. Now bear in mind, this nigga hardly ever came to my side of town. I was always gaan en dragen to his side of town. That's fine because I evidently did that with most of my boyfriends any damn way. So you know what? The blame is on me. Ndimo haha, Clown Academy. You know what it is. You know what it do. Signing up application for 2021. But okay, we go there. We get there. We see my principal. So my principal sees us together. And obviously she's like, oh, my kids, my children. Now my principal knows me because I was a hot ass mess, okay? My principal and I never used to get along. And he used to get along with the principal. Like, he used to get along with the principal. And I didn't get along with the principal. So she probably looked at him and thought, hey, you don't have a choice, hey? You picked Naledi. Out of all the girls to pick, you went and picked Naledi. Ah. If only she knew that I picked him. And I paid for it. I paid for it. Fine. We're sitting there, we're eating. Nah, the menu comes, guys. This is where I noticed that no, man. Yeah, man. Something is hitting the water. I'm like, are you hungry? And he's like, nah, I'm good, I ate. And man, I'm thinking, at which point did you eat? Because when I spoke to you, you were finishing off at work. Like, we used to talk on the phone all the time. So he would tell me like, nah, I'm gonna go grab lunch, whatever. Maybe at his cafeteria, I don't know. But all I'm gonna say is that nigga was hungry because he ate the bread. So we sat and we spoke. And I asked him about his ex. Because he was with his ex for a long time. This ex of his, he was with her. It was like his high school sweetheart. So I was asked, I was like, dude, what's the setup between you and this person? And for story's sake, I'm gonna call her Amber. Right? So I'm like, Thomas, what's the story with you and Amber? Because you guys have been together for a really long time. Did you get over that? Then he went into detail about, like, I'm just gonna say the toxicity of their relationship. Not really due to like any bad things, but it was a lot of other external factors. And there was a lot of like, you know, emotional problems involved. That's cool. He made it very clear to me, like, I'm not with her anymore, but I do check up on her time to time because I need to make sure she's okay. She fell sick, And then he started going on about her having a mental illness, ne? Men and lying. Baby girl didn't have a mental illness. But anyway, we'll get to that part. Okay, and basically her going through, you know, kind of labeling her as like someone who had problems here. And I don't want to say that because when I know this girl, I know Amber. And as much as everybody goes through mental breakdowns, she sure as hell didn't have mental problems. But then again, I wasn't dating her. I wouldn't know. So I'm like, are you gonna eat anything? He's like, nah, I'm good. How? Okay. Then the bread gets there, obviously. Because now I'm hungry. The bread gets there. He nibbles on the bread. Man, I'm thinking, Echo, ulapile, you're hungry, dude. Like, then my platter gets there because I ordered like a seafood platter for one, right? Just update on the food. The mussel bag is really, really spicy. I'm not enjoying it at all. For the first time in a really long time, I'm not enjoying the Dash Kitchen seafood boil. I think the sauce has just like, I don't know, man. Everybody has like different like flavor palettes, and for me, I've always liked it being super mild. I think maybe I might need to try a different type of seafood boil, one that's a bit more like watery, because this sauce is just really overwhelming. Like, I can't even eat the food. Then my food gets there. As my food gets there, he's busy talking. As I'm busy talking, Moto takes his hand, his actual hand, his grimy little fingers, and takes a chip out of my plates and eats. And I'm like, what's going on, guys? Okay, I'm very stingy with food. Like, I'm very greedy and I'm very stingy, which is actually so weird. Like, thank God the person I dated for so long got used to it, because I'm not a stingy person naturally, but when it comes to food, like, I'm always like that. Like, don't do that. Hi? That's when I could tell that, oh. And when the bill got there, he looked around and he looked up and down. Like, he had a Coke, I think, or he had something. I think he had a beer or something like that. And I had wine, and I was enjoying myself because the girl had an allowance and she could, you know, buy herself some lunch. Then eventually I got over that because, you know, I had to kiki and play nice when deep down I was just like, this is not my portion. Hey, this is not my portion. Guys, as far as I knew, he said he's an engineer. Ne? he does? He said he's an engineer. So as far as I knew, this guy was engineering the engineering parts at work. He was the guy they called when they needed the job done. As far as I knew, he was making good money because engineers make good money. And I think he was a civil. He said he's an engineer, and civil is buildings and things like that, because mechanical would be something else, right? I figured that he wasn't civil because he was in the same industry as my parents. Mugai went on and on to explain his family history to me and whatever. So I felt bad for him in the sense that you've had to fight all your life. He's always been smart, or as far as I knew, he's smart. And then, I felt bad, man. I get attracted to losers. I love losers. Losers are my portion. I don't like a guy who's here. I don't like a guy who always wants to be in front of the screen. Relax. Just stay at the back like Jay-Z and let me be the Beyonce. It's okay. I can do it. Believe in me. Here's where things started getting very tricky. So him and I would hang out, right? He would come to my side of town. He once came to a bride that my hometown friends are hosting in Sprayville and things like that. Like, we genuinely got along despite the red flags of every time he was around. I was always buying the alcohol. I was always forking out things. I was always driving to his house. But then I think for me, I didn't mind at the time. I was young. I had no responsibilities. I really liked him. I was really happy that I actually attained a crush of mine because, like I said, I was not the prettiest girl in school. If anything, in school, I was one of the ugliest. It's just a nigga papa, so I got away with it. But I bloomed very late, and it was kind of nice to get the attention of someone that I'd liked for so long. This is where things started getting tricky. Months into our situationship, he was very touch and go. He was one night I invited him. He wanted to see me, and I said to him, no, you can come to my place. You can actually come to my side of town. And he came. Like, this is where I felt like things were being reciprocated, in the sense that he did like me back. I mean, why wouldn't you? I'm fucking hilarious. I am so hilarious that it amazes me that I'm alone on a Friday night. I mean, niggas, guys, what is it? What am I doing wrong? Tell me. That night, my sister is there. So I invited him. I'm like, no, come, we've got alcohol, we've got hab. My sister and I, we're chilling, we're chilling outside. My sister's chilling with me while I smoke the hab. And I was trying to put my sister on, and she just wasn't feeling it. He comes, guys. Oh, wait. Now, here's the problem with this nigga. Here was the problem with this nigga. Oh my God. He blamed the whole world for everything. He never blamed himself. This is where things started really coming to light. We were talking about, basically, he was talking about religion. It started with like politics. He was very engaging in those areas of like conversation, which is why I always like enjoyed sitting with him, because he was very well informed. Also, I thought. This guy was talking about, conspiracy theory, how the Old Testament and the New Testament contradict each other, which is fine. So he doesn't believe in the Bible. He was like, no, the Bible, we can never be sure if it's true or not. Because I asked him, are you atheist, bro? He's like, no.
Oh, Naledi, who wrote the Bible?
I'm like the disciples of Israel. I don't know, nigga, what are you asking me? Like, he's like,
how do you know that one man didn't just wake up one day and decide to write the Bible?
So my sister and I, as much as we were listening to him, we were going, but we were looking at each other and saying, something isn't, the math isn't mathing out. So his level of thinking was different, right? And so we could engage, but then things just started not making sense. He's like, he started talking about his job. He started talking about his job. And he was like, to my sister and I, Kato and I, we busted when we had this. He's like, do you know that you don't have to study to be an engineer? We're like, you don't have to study to be an engineer. We're like, no, no. There are some subjects you can get away with not having studied them. One of them being marketing, okay? Some people just genuinely have a knack for people and understand the dynamics of how people work, irrespective of whether they need to study it. Some people have the luck of getting into the marketing space and learning through areas of like expertise, like learning, general experience, right? So you can start off as like a marketing, whatever, an entry marketing assistant, and you learn. Engineering is not one of those those fields of expertise. It's not one of those ones where you just jump in and you learn. No, my brother. Then he started breaking down. I was like, no, yeah, you know, the guys at work, they're engineers and they have better positions than me, yet I'm here all day doing their work. And then my sister's like, my sister's like, are you not an engineer? Aren't you an engineer? He's like, I am. And I'm like, okay, so how are these people? And he's like, no, but the thing is, I dropped out of school. I dropped out of school. He dropped out of where he was attending, right? And then he became that thing that's underneath the engineer. Not even underneath, way at the bottom. Like, I don't know what in that field he was doing. Oh, he was an artisan or something like that. But he was not an engineer. Like, that nigga was capping for days. You don't have to study to be an engineer. I know this because all of the things that these white niggas, he was definitely like pro-black, like Steve Biko, very Malcolm X-y type of thing. It was kind of annoying. But you know, when you're for the people, like, it doesn't matter. You'll listen to all of it. When you are for the people. And my sister and I, we were for the people. The thing is, at work, these white men don't know shit. I end up having to do their work and whatever. I'm like, yeah, but that's what happens when you become an engineer. You become so well respected that he's like, they come into a room, they say 1, 2 things that don't even make sense, and then they leave. And I'm like, but that's what happens when you're an engineer. You know what I'm saying? Duh, you wouldn't know. He then went to explain, no, all these things you can learn when you're at work, right? And it frustrates me because, you know, I know all the stuff, and you know, I just dropped out. I was going through a hard time, but I am an engineer. Guys, we even said to him, oh, okay, we understand what you're saying. But by that time, my sister and I, we were like quarter to laughing. We were here because he genuinely believed what he was saying. At the time, I still don't know that this nigga's living a lie. He is living a lie. Talks about how he's saving to get his life together. That's why he's staying in the place that he's staying in, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't in a desirable area. So I think when my sister and I kept asking, like, why would you go and stay all the way there? Because his family didn't even stay that side. His family stayed closer to our side of town. So we couldn't understand what the thinking process was for you to move all the way there. And he made up stories, guys. He made up stories that when the math was not mathing. The math was not mathing. His job was closer to here. His family, and it made more sense to live this side than it would have made to live in the East Rand. So in the South. He left that day, we laughed. Yo, we busted. Yo, dude. When I tell you that I laughed, I couldn't believe it. I was amazed. It was a miracle that we sat through that. And the thing is, I'm very argumentative. I'm very confrontational. I believe in the power of conflict. Because where there's positive or constructive conflict, you get to learn something. You don't know everything. So every time he would say something, I'd be like, but how? Explain it to me. And that night, guys, he made a very snacks comment about my dad, actually. Then this is where the story started coming into full circle. My friend from school, who was like a year older than me, but was like a year or 2 younger than him, for story's sake, I'm just gonna call him Benson. Benson hits me up, and he's like, dude, Naledi, you're really doing the most for yourself, okay? What the fuck are you doing with Thomas? Like, why are you with that nigga, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, Benson and I, we vibing. We're not dating or anything. We vibing. He's like, Benson is still with Amber. You know that, right? What did I call her? Annie? Amber. I know I called her somewhere A. He's like, dude, but do you know that Benson is still dating Amber? Huh? I'm like, no, they're not dating. He checkers her because she's like, she's not okay here. It's not clicking. The math is not mathing apparently up here. He's like, no, the math is definitely mathing up there. He even says, hey, if Amber had a mental issue, I definitely didn't know about it. But I saw him last week. I'm like, where did you see him? He's like, at Amber's house. I'm trying to make sense of it all. Like, because now it's like, I trusted him. So I didn't ever doubt the fact that when he was with Amber, he was doing something. Because now I'm thinking he's checking on like a cancer patient. You know, he has to be there. Because you know, sometimes when you share a bond with someone for that long, like I know there's one guy in my life, like he could have a girlfriend and whatever would happen, but we just have that bond where if I need him, he'll be there. If he needs me, I'll be there. And it's just what it is because we've dated for so long, we shared memories, like nothing's going to come in between that unless one of us actually puts our foot down and says, no, I don't want to communicate anymore. In my mind, that was the setup between him and Amber. Benson is like, no, bitch. They are full force dating. Amber was with Thomas. They were together and we were all chilling. I'm like, huh? Benson, don't fucking blame you. He's like, no, dude, I'm telling you. What the hell are you even doing with Benson? That nigga's a liar. I'm like, what do you mean, my boy? What do you mean this guy's a liar? He's like, dude, I'm like, no, Benson said, you know, he's an engineer. Yeah, Benson. No, Thomas said he's an engineer. I'm telling Benson now. I'm like, no, Thomas said he's an engineer. He's like, he's a what? Where? Yo, guys. Benson was well known in our school for running. You couldn't touch him long distance. He used to beat anything and everyone. He was the Caster Semenya of St. Catherine's, dude. He was always running. That nigga ran. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he only did long distance. He hardly did sprints. No, I think he did sprints here and there. But his expertise where he would never lose was long distance. And another thing about Benson, he's not a liar. Benson was so naughty, he was disruptive like me, but he wasn't a liar. It's like, Naledi, I think you're being catfished. I don't know what's going on. But that nigga didn't even finish at school. He dropped out. He's still dating Amber. And he went and told me about his setup with his parents. The real story behind why he lives so far away from his parents. And there was just a lot, guys. So now I'm just like, hey, what? I should have known from the moment he said you don't need to go to school for engineering, that here, the math is not mathing. Something's not clicking. What's not clicking? The truth, okay? I should have picked it up from there. But me being me, I just laughed it off with my sister and thought to myself, no, baby, no. And then eventually, one day, like, I went off on him. I was just like, I called his ass out. I was like, first of all, this is what's going on. And then I confronted him about everything that Benson told me. He went to Benson's house, guys, and he tried to jump the gate. He went to Benson's house. He tried to kick Benson's ass. It didn't work. But the point of the story is that nigga was like pathological, sociopath kind of lie that I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. This thing of a crush, it's not a real thing. Amanga, it's a fable, it's a story time, it's a tale. It's not even supposed to be a thing. Like, guys, do not date your crushes. Especially don't date them when you've leveled up. Please. I beg of you, don't. But yeah, guys, that's essentially what happened. That is how I got played by a crush from high school that I genuinely actually liked. And by the time that I got to know him, I realized I really didn't like him. I liked the idea of him. And I think the idea was great because at school, he was very laid back, very to himself. And, you know, maybe he had problems. Maybe that's the thing. These people have problems and they never say they have problems. But yeah, that's essentially what happened. And that is why I'll never have a crush ever again. Because why? Crushes are good for nothing, dude. As a matter of fact, when I look back at it, I've never really dated a guy who's matched like my energy in terms of there we go. I've never really dated a guy who's matched like, no, I'm not gonna say that because that would be a lie. I've always been attracted to low-key men because I'm the opposite, and I don't like a guy who's as loud and as bombastic and bombacious. That's not a word, but whatever. I've never liked guys like that because I don't know, call it an insecurity or whatever, but I don't like indoor that's all over the place. I'm all over the place because that's just my character. But I like a man who is very laid back. I like a man who's super low-key, like Saweetie and Quavo. Quavo's just there being Saweetie's boyfriend, okay? And Saweetie's just there being Saweetie, okay? And Quavo's just there being the handbag that does everything, pays her rent, buys her a Birkin, type of thing. I've never liked the nigga who liked being in the spotlight. And I think that's why I liked him, because in comparison to his peers at school, or Chubby, or whatever, the only other guy I remember is Chubby, guys, sorry. But Chubby was like, he was the guy that girls like. When girls saw Chubby, no, guys, I'm not saying Chubby wasn't hot. Chubby was hot. He was gorgeous. But like, Chubby, he was the ladies' man. He belonged in every classroom period. First break, second break, it was a girl, it was here, it was here, it was there, it was at the top, it was at the bottom. So I never liked guys like Chubby. But Chubby was an amazing guy, by the way. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And that's basically how I got played by my crush. I basically became his transport driver and his food minister. Minister of food and minister of transport. But yeah, guys, that is it. That is the end of the story time. Please comment down below if you liked it. I know that my energy was a bit laid back today, and that's because I'm having such horrible back pains. But I really wanted to film for you guys and kind of show you guys the other side of Dash Kitchen and what they offer. I'm really sorry that I didn't eat most of it because it was a bit on the spicy side today, but I like their flavors nonetheless. Their flavors are still like bomb.com. Please, guys, comment, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to share the video. But until the next one, have an amazing World Champagne Day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.